Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of June 30th through July 3rd. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from June 23rd through the 27th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is Nike. We ended the day at $72.04, up a whopping 15%. Congratulations if you've made some money off of this ticker. This is where we ended. To the north side takes us to one level of resistance and to an area we've been to in the past, 76.76. Above that at 3 standard deviations, roughly 79.79. This is another potential take profit area and another potential sell limit area. And at 4 standard deviations, roughly $82.65. I do not anticipate we get to this level on Monday, but definitely some other time we will get there. Now, to the south side, the middle of the trend is this green line right here, and that is roughly, let me change the color. That is 71.09 to the south side. Another level of support takes us to 64.97. Below that, 62.05, and at -4 standard deviations, that is roughly 59.49. This is also back, that would take us also back to an area we've been to before in the past, in the recent past. All right, there's a gap here that takes us down to 69.35. If we hit this line, I will anticipate a bounce. This will be support as well as this line, this line, this line, and this line. This gap closes out at 62.79, and that opened up on Thursday the 26th. I will extend this because I have no idea when it's going to touch. Oops, Command Z to undo anything that you don't want done. And let's talk about this gap that took us to 71.48. That opened up on, right here, Friday the 21st. That took us to 71.48, and our high of the day was 74.19. So this is no longer in play to the upside. This was an anticipated move, so I will clean that up. Right, we are done. And that's 71. Oh, let me extend this. And that touched right there on Friday the 27th. So that is no longer, as I mentioned, in play. And that started at 66.99. Delete. All right, that's done. And what about this gap to 65 bucks? That touched also on earnings day. And let's click that button. That date was the 26th of June there. They reported $11.1 billion. The estimate was 10.73, and that sent the stock roaring. They got a new CEO, the woke CEO that caused all this mayhem. Well, probably exacerbated the problem. Was fired, and now they have a new CEO trying to trim things and take the company in a new direction. You really can't piss off your base. People don't want to hear about your politics. They just want a good company to invest in and a company that makes quality products, that doesn't use child labor laws. Okay, so he's on the right track. All right, 65 bucks. That's done. Delete. I'm going to go back. Delete. Delete. And I am invested in this ticker for my mom, so I'm happy to see it run finally. And it made it on my gap and go trades because I take some of the worst tickers of good companies that have crashed and burned, and then I track it all the way back to a recovery, and then I stopped tracking again. I deleted something here. When I make my thumbnails, I go through and I delete. So let me put this back right there. All right, what else is happening? That's done, that's clean. Anything with a price label, I know that I need to clean it up, except for the Gap price labels, not the labels that I do as videos that I make. Okay, this one took us up to 6307 right there. And that touched also, wow, we had three gaps touch on Friday, day after earnings there. 6307 no longer in place, so congrats. I know this was very scary for the longest time here. And what about these gaps to the south side? Well, we've got this gap because we gapped up. Well, wait, did it touch? Let me go back. This one opened up. Okay, that's done. Yeah, that gap has not touched down here. All right. That takes us to 58.38, and then we've got a gap. Oh, wait, 58.38, and that takes us down to 57.26. And that has not closed out. But I am tracking this all the way up to here, which is 94.69. Is that what I saw? Yeah. And then this gap still in play. All right. Look at this, all the way up here and here. The 1 year price target is now 75.08. I marked that out in the white line down here. Originally, it was 76.57, and it's been revised downward. So some things to keep in mind, some gaps to the upside. We are not there yet. We could touch this base here at 76.57 and get slammed back down. But right now, we're basically at the middle of the trend. And last week, we were, I know it's a lot of lines I need to delete, but I will eventually do that. So we are up here for the middle of the trend. And last week, where were we? Oh, right here. Geez, way down here, $58.99. We went as low as, but I tracked last week, the beginning of the week, we were at $59.79. Crazy. So that is basic. Well, we hit a high here of 23%. So even higher than the day's gain of, what was that, 15.19%. So congrats. So this was last week. And now this gap is so close to this one. I will delete this line here. I know I'm spending way too much time on this ticker. All right, let me just delete this line just so that it cleans it up just slightly. Like I said, I don't need these lines. These are middle of the trend lines that now turn into support or resistance. And sometimes I delete them and sometimes I don't. All right, Boeing is next. We ended the day at $214.55. We are at resistance. We are going to be cracking here. Yes, to go down, to go up again, sure, why not? But anticipate a crackdown because we are in resistance territory with the RSI. So 215.18, 217.79, and another level of resistance, 220.30. The middle of the trend is now here at 209.92. Here's negative 2, 204.76, 200, 215, and 199.45. And we've got this gap that opened up on, was it Friday the 27th? And then we have this gap still in play also, two gaps to the south side there, and then others below that. Not in the channel, not in the zone yet for these. Just something to be aware of. If you like to go short, there you go. But right now, we're still going up a little bit, but we will be cracking. And you will get different buy and sell signals on a different time frame. But this is the 5 minute for basically if you're day trading, flip it over to the 1 minute too. But this is not the daily, the weekly, or the monthly that you will definitely get different buy and sell signals. All right, what happened here? 213.85. The high was 214.81. So congrats if you went long. I'm also in this trade for my mom. Okay, 213, 85. Delete. And then we've got a gap that will take us to 222.66. And is that the last gap I'm tracking for my gap and go? Yeah, I think so. Yay. Getting close. This stock was bleeding out too previously. You know, when people kill themselves in the back of the head or right before being an eyewitness to some investigation, it's kind of weird. Yeah, when your eyewitness whistleblowers get killed, yeah, there's something going on with Boeing. But doesn't mean you can't make money off of it. All right, what's happening here? So we've got those two gaps, that gap down to the south side, and then this gap. All right, that is it for Boeing for now. The next one, I want to speed through this because I've spent too much time on Nike. All right, Sofi, I'm in this one for myself and for my mom, and we ran this week. Thank the Lord. We were just basing for the longest time in the $14 and $15 range. It was annoying. All right, so we broke free. There we go, 17.38. Wait until interest rates go down. Then this bank will, hopefully, the sticker will take off. 17.78. And yeah, you don't get to borrow money and not pay it back in student loans. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. All right, next one, 17.97. Pay your obligations, 18.20. You don't get to ride for free unless it's a scholarship. And if you got a loan, it's not a scholarship. 16.97. 16.76. I put myself through college and did not expect anyone to pay for me, and I didn't. Paid off every dime myself. 16.56 to the south side. Support, support, support. This is also a stop loss, stop loss, stop loss. Sell limit, sell limit, sell limit, take profit, take profit, take profit. Middle of the trend. If we're up here, that will bounce off of this line. This line, though, is now resistance. We've got this baby gap to go through, 16.85. We've got some gaps down here and down here. And note the sell-off at resistance, 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 basing sideways, following this trend line here. Resistance, sell-off, and a buy-in here. Clear buy-in down here as well. The wick took us down, and that was a buy signal too. You're not going to get exactly this unless you change the length, but it's close enough. What else? Oh, why did I mark this? 14. Oh, that's because I never went back to clean it up. So that touched right there on Wednesday, the 18th of June. Took us to 14.88. Delete. Yeah, I've tried to buy this a couple of times again, and I've sold some. I got rid of some at 2.75%, 2.27%. You can make 2%, 2-3% all day long, every day on many tickers. That beats parking your money in Chase or anywhere at 0.001% for a year. You know, what's the point? Find a better route to park your money. All right, what else? Am I? No, don't tell me I'm done. I'm not done. Yeah, 1607 is another area. Oh, wait. What am I saying? I just need to clean that up. 1607 was a target area. Yay. And obviously that touched on, wait, that touched even earlier, and I never cleaned up my, oh, look at that. Okay, that one touched on the 25th. Nice. Delete 1607 there. Oops. Delete. So this one, oh, so close. All right, 1785, and that, when could that touch? Well, let's take a look at this. So if this is the upper band 2 standard and between 3, that could touch on Monday if we go up, and there's room here to go, but it looks like it's turning. All right, but by the end of the week, the middle of the trend could be 1908, the lower bands 1868, 1847, and 1824. Upper band 1948, 1973, and 1988 at the end of the week if we go upward. And right now we are still in an upward channel. But is that the last of it? Oh my gosh. No, I got another gap up here. Wait, is that? No, we got another one up to 22 bucks. Okay, I'll be tracking this one still for quite some time. That is a look at Sofi. Watch out for the gaps to the south side, but right now we're not there. Oh, let me mark this out because I deleted it also for a thumbnail. There. Oh, and here too. Wait, no, yep. What the heck is this one? Friday, 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 Friday. Yeah, I'm missing two of them. That doesn't look right. Okay, Wednesday, or maybe it is. Nope. Oh yeah, that is the end. It just looks weird. Okay, never mind. I digress. Sofi, this is Estee Lauder. We ran because Leonard Lauder died and sent the ticker running. But of course, look what happened. And right there, you don't even need to trade off of this. You could just trade off of the RSI and most likely you'll hit it. Yeah, you can have some, what do they call it, divergence, but still, typically it will follow that. Okay, we melted here, and now this is resistance here. So we're at 80.09. Middle of the trend is now, and this will be resistance as well, 80.79, 82.74, 83.75, and 84.69. The bottom here, back to an area we've been, 78.86, 77.94, and 76.97. This gap is still in play. We've got, oh, look, it's sliced through this, whoops, here. So that was an anticipated move to 83.37, and we touched at 83.43. So congrats if you played that gap to the upside. And this is resistance, resistance, and resistance here. So you know what's going to happen when you see that. The outer bands. Typically, we don't hit 4 standard deviations when we're down here, okay? If we're up here or here, yeah. But when we're down here, it's no way. Unless a wick takes us there and some event takes us there, normally we don't get to 4 in one day. -2 and 2 all day long. And what about this one? 82. Yep, that touched also on Friday the 27th. Delete. And this gap touched, did it touch? Oh wait, no. This gap is still in play to the downside at 75.33. And we're moving farther away from it, so that's good to see. But this one is still in play. Oops. Command Z. Gotta get this one out of the way. There we go. And then other gaps to the south side, which I'll carry over later. Okay, resistance. You know it's going to sell off. You know it's going to sell off. This is resistance coming down. I mean, excuse me, support on the way down. So we bounced and then fell through again. This is resistance, busted through, fell down, went sideways. Resistance. Oh, I need to delete that. And all right. Oh, the nice thing about Estee Lauder, this is the last gap, yay, that I am tracking, so I can get rid of this. I will no longer be tracking this in my gap and go trades. I make a point to start tracking it and then check for the reversal every single week. And this one touched. Lauder's death made this thing run and it bounced. So I am done tracking this. Look at this. I don't track to the south side. If it opens up, then it opens up, and I'm just letting you see it. But for my purposes and the purposes of my gap and go, all I'm trading is a reversal to the upside after the ticker melts. All right, and let me show you. Oh, so here, I started tracking this on Friday, November 1st to Friday, June 27th. That's 239 days, 34 weeks and 1 day, and 7 months and 4 weeks roughly. So let me flip this just because I'm done tracking this and you can see on the monthly. However, there's a gap that will take us to $100, but I'm not tracking that because that is not the gap that I was tracking for the purposes of this video. I started here when it tanked down to 80. Well, the gap was 83.39 and it took how many weeks? 7 months, 34 weeks. So I started tracking it from here to here, and we got as low as, well, as low as $52.93. So from $52 to $80 to $80. Let me see, where's $80? Oh, I went past it. $80. Oh, 83. No, I'm going to go with the day's high of 83. Here, let me just 83.43. And I started here at 52.93. All right, 52.93. So that is a return of 57%, and that took 7 months, but many trades in between to get in, get up, get out, start all over again. So congrats if you were in this trade. And the gap that I want to point out is right here, all the way up to $110. But again, that's not the gap I started with. This is the only gap that I wanted to trade or take a look at it through 83.39, and we hit. So that's it. I'm going to slowly probably phase out my gap and go trades. Nobody really watches it, so. All right, but just for giggles, I'm going to mark this out for you in case you are continuing on to, well, 110.80. The 52-week high will now be, what am I saying? The 1 year price target is $100, and I have it at 110. Okay, so, and the RSI still has plenty of room. Plenty of room. Speaking of fashion, I just heard something about Anna Wintour, and basically how nasty she was as a CEO. I don't know. I can't believe she got away with it for that long of a period. But anyway, that's interesting, just in the whole world of fashion and makeup. Okay, the next one is Neo. Let's go. Oh, yeah, I did go to the 5. Oh, here's my public service announcement. Thank you so much for looking at it. I'm going to move it out of the way. Pause it if you want to. And right here we are at resistance, but there is still plenty of room to go up. All right. This is an area we've been to before, 350 and 353. To the south side right here. And below that, 335, 332, 329. Look at the sell-off at resistance here, 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 and we've got a gap, oops, that will take us to 362. There are many gaps because we tanked also recently. I mean, we tanked for it to make it onto this gap and go trade segment that I do. Okay, look at this. Sell, well, excuse me, we sold off a bounce, a sideways. I mean, look at this, just grinding along this, and then whoop, rug pull all the way back up. All right, so this is where we are. This is now the middle of the trend. Last week's middle of the trend was here, so we're actually inching up from here to here, just slightly, even though we are still in a downward channel. And then we've got this, and oops, gosh darn. Move this out of the way. All right. And no other gaps to the downside, so that's good to see. Intel, next one. I do own Neo, and I own Intel for myself and for my mom. Oh, wait, Neo, let's go back to something because I want to delete this line. I don't like it when it's too close. I marked that out. When did I mark that out? Right here, this line. I marked that on Friday, April the, wait, what was that? April 7th. So I'm going to delete this one just to clean it up slightly. Okay, now Intel. Let me blaze through this. 2305, 2324, 2344. Middle of the trend is here. 2265, 2227, 2207, 2186. This gap touched. I just remember I extended out. I have no idea when it's going to touch. And we touched on Tuesday. Delete. Congrats if you went, oops. Oh yeah, that's right. Long. But note it ran up even higher. And that's done. We've got a gap to $26 and to $29 that I am looking forward to. Okay. What else? Oh, we've got, let's just delete this one. Sometimes I hit things when I'm looking at it and it moves my gap and then I'm off. Oh, wait. Let me see what the heck happened to the $22 one. Huh. Yeah, I'm going to have to clean that one up later. But we know it hit because we actually hit $23. So let's just get rid of that one. And that one. And that one. This one right there. That touched on the 10th. Took us to 2163. All right, looking good. I think my chart looks clean, even though I'm sure you think this looks nasty. How can she read this? What the heck is she doing? Don't worry, it all makes sense to me. My brain works in mysterious ways. All right. We've got a gap that will take us down to 21.22, which is a pullback, maybe an opportunity to dollar cost average. Did I already tell you all these? Yeah, I think I did. But this needs to be extended. Dang, I cannot wait for this to hit here. Okay. All right, that's Intel. Oh, one thing I want to delete is my middle of the trend is here. And that's too close to this one, so I'm going to delete this line. And that line I drew out on Friday the 28th of March. So let's delete that one. Okay, very good. And finally, Tsly. Oh, no, sorry, Tsly and RIVN. Oh, my goodness. All right. If my recording ends, have a great trading week. I'm going to stop if that happens. 841, 852, 863. The middle of the trend basically is back to an area we've been to before, right here on Friday the 13th of June. I'm going to delete that. I recently did sell some, I think. Okay. 798, 787, and then back to an area we've been, 777. This gap takes us down to 763. We're in a downward channel still. Oh, I did sell some for 7%, and then it's tanked. We were at resistance. I'm like, I'm going to hop off the gravy train, and look at, here's another buy signal. Boom, and I bought in a little higher. I bought in again. I don't know where. I got to read. Oh, I bought in some here, and it fell down some more. That's how the cookie crumbles. All right, so we've got this gap, but it touched on the way down to 833. Delete. Delete. Okay, what else? We've got a gap that will take us to 895. Oh, wait, did we touch? No, I don't think we touched. Oops. Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness. There we go. What the heck happened? Okay, this needs to be cleaned up, right? It touched. Oh no, it touched right here. Okay, that's done. 870. Okay, 901, we're still there. 895. Yeah, that did not touch yet. Neither did this one. Geez Louise, to 988. But we're still going down, baby, down. So watch out for that, which is a good buying opportunity, but not a good selling opportunity if you're above that price. All right, that is it for Tsly and RIVN. 1360 is where we ended. The middle of the trend is here. 1367, 1396, 1410, 1424. Again, here are your price targets for Monday. 1339, 1325, 1310. The market's closed on the 4th. We've got some gaps to the downside. Okay, there you go, 1179 there. And what happened here? We tickled this gap, but we did not close it, so that is still in play to 1407. All right, everything else looks pretty clean. All right, and it looks like I have another gap up here that is not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. But that's it for RIVN. And look where we ended here, right on this old middle of the trend line. Support, buy-in, sell-off, sell-off, sell-off. Close enough to support. Support any, this is a buy line, buy line, buy line. A sell line if you want to play it conservatively when we are down here to up here. And then resistance, 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 on the way down, support, 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 support. All right, that is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of June 30th through July, 3rd, because the market, again, is closed on the 4th. And I will remove Estee Lauder, so that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 tickers in the gap and go. I think I had like 10 or 20 at one point, and then I slowly got rid of them as every single gap closed that I was tracking. And that is it. Have a great trading week.